Hey there, and thank you for tuning into another question and answer session where each week I answer your questions to help you strengthen your relationship. Today I am talking all about blame. Now, this is a common position that we get into in our relationship, and it's really important that we understand what is happening inside of ourselves and what we can do to try to get out of this position. Because we know that when we get into blaming, what happens is that we are not able to get our needs met. We're no longer able to communicate with our partner, and we can get stuck in negative interaction cycles where we feel like we are disconnected, our emotions are not being heard, and we can start to feel insecure in our relationship. Why do we blame? Blaming is the discharging of uncomfortable emotions that we might feel feelings of pain, sadness, or even frustration. And when we blame, it's like we're trying to get them out. And I absolutely know this position of blaming. What happened recently was I was trying to get the kids' bike into the car and I couldn't get it in, and I was like, oh, this is my partner's fault. And he wasn't even around. And what was happening is that I was feeling uncomfortable. I was overwhelmed. I had a lot to do. I was feeling stressed. And it was easier to be able to blame my partner that if he hadn't put blah, 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 blah into the trunk, then this wouldn't have been happening. When we blame other people, we don't take accountability for what is happening inside of us. In this example, I didn't take accountability that I didn't plan for enough time to get the bikes into the car and to get on my way. This was something that was happening inside of me, and I wasn't taking that accountability and responsibility. The challenge with blame is that it works against us. It stops our partner from being able to hear what we are feeling and actually what we need. And it also pushes our partner further away. It is impossible for your partner to understand what is happening for you when you are angry and critical and blaming them for something that is happening. Knowing that this is a common experience, we then need to start doing some of our own internal work and being able to ask, what is it that we could do differently in those moments where we want to blame? Now, the first thing I always recommend to people is to slow down and pause. I have an IGTV on the power of the pause that I will link here. Go check it out and learn to pause in those moments where you start to feel that frustration or that overwhelm rising up and you want to go into that blaming space. You'll want to start reflecting on what's happening for you in those moments when you get into that blaming space. You might ask yourself, how do I feel in this moment? What's happening inside of me in these moments where I want to blame my partner? So instead of being up here in your mind, take yourself into your belly, into your chest. What are you experiencing in those moments? What are you struggling with? You might also choose not to share that frustration right in that moment. So again, pausing and taking time to self-reflect and deciding later on, is this something that I need to share? What is it that's really happening for me? So for the example in my own life, I was feeling overwhelmed in all of the roles that I was playing, and I needed help offloading some of that. And that was a more powerful conversation with my partner rather than getting into that blame of, if you had just moved that in the trunk, then I wouldn't have had to have this with the bikes. That would not have helped him to see what was truly happening for me. Now, the key with these conversations is to be able to talk about your internal experience. So that's using I language. I feel. What's the feeling? Is it sad? Is it overwhelmed? Is it scared? Are you feeling anxious? Remember that sharing a feeling is not, I feel that you. That's not a feeling, that's a thought. So go inside, what's the feeling here? And you'll want to ask yourself, what does this feeling tell me that I need? All feelings are attached to needs. In fact, feelings tell us what we need moment to moment. If we feel happy, we want to celebrate and connect with people. If we feel sad, we might want time to ourselves, or we might want hugs and closeness. What does this feeling tell you that you need? Do you need to offload some things? Do you need help somewhere? Do you need to feel like you're important and that you matter? So remember, one of the most important things in relationships is about how we communicate what it is that we need and how we feel. We must take responsibility for that in our relationships so that we can have a connected and secure bond. Tuning into when you get into this blaming space and being able to shift gears into a space that will help your partner see what you need is going to be helpful for you to continue to build and nurture that connection. Remember, this information is for informational purposes only and does not substitute for the care from a licensed mental health professional. If you and your partner are struggling in your relationship, I encourage you to reach out to a therapist that is trained to work with couples and can help you master some of these difficulties that are coming up, because I know that relationships are hard and nobody teaches us how to communicate. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you next week.